This is the Secure Family Podcast. Welcome, friend. I'm Andy Murphy, the host and founder of The Secure Dad. This show is all about empowering parents to protect themselves and their family. I believe that security is the foundation of happiness. I want your family to be safe and secure. The information I share on this podcast is for general information purposes only. My goal is to empower you to make safer decisions for yourself and your family, because our safety is our own responsibility. Today, we're going to discuss the most prevalent threat that our families can face today, and unfortunately, this threat can happen at home. All of that and more coming up on the Secure Family Podcast. As we start 2025, it's time to make a commitment, one to take control of our personal data. Our information is everywhere: names, phone numbers, addresses, even work history. And it's all being bought and sold by data brokers. These companies profit off of our personal details while leaving us exposed to privacy risks, scams, and even identity theft. That's why I personally use Delete Me. Delete Me is a subscription service that removes your personal information from hundreds of data brokers. With data breaches and cyber threats on the rise, now is the perfect time to take action and protect yourself for the year ahead. Start this year by reclaiming your digital privacy with Delete Me. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/dad and use the promo code DAD at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/dad and enter the code DAD at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/dad, code DAD. So before we get started today, I am working on a new safety guide for families. I am very excited about it, and I will be sharing more with you soon. So keep an eye out for more good things coming from the Secure Dad. So recently I had a very good, important conversation with my friend Jeremy about my podcast. This chat ultimately led me to rebrand the show as a Secure Family Podcast, which, by the way, thank you so much for being here either through this transition or finding the show brand new last week. I really do appreciate you being here. But during my talk with Jeremy, he asked me a very important question. We just kind of stumbled into it, but it was really important, and it's going to be the basis of today's episode. He asked me, what is the biggest threat to today's families? And I immediately knew the answer was crystal clear to me. And you may have, your own thoughts, and that's wonderful, and I'd like to hear them. I'm going to be talking about a lot of stuff on this podcast, but for me, the biggest threat to our families is not something that you can fix with antivirus software or a security system or even a self-defense tool. To me, the greatest threat to families today is online predators grooming our children. Predators are grooming our kids to take inappropriate photos of themselves and even meet up in real life so that they can be assaulted. Now, the kids don't realize that. They think they're just meeting a friend, but that will quickly turn really, really bad. And this grooming can happen at home, on the bus, or even at school. Wherever your kids are online, that's where grooming can occur. But don't worry, there are signs that we can recognize and precautions that we can take to protect them. I feel like every day I hear this heartbreaking story of a kid who was manipulated by a predator. And by the way, these criminals are using platforms like Roblox, Discord, and other digital spaces to befriend children, gain their trust, and eventually turn to exploiting them. It's a process that can take anywhere to 10 days to 10 minutes. It just kind of depends on how things go. They might persuade kids to send photos or videos, or even just meet up with them in real life. And before you ask, you would say, oh, my kid only goes to safe sites. I had this phenomenal conversation with Chris Hadnagy of the Innocent Lives Foundation. His job is to go and help make a case for police to stop online predators. And he said that anywhere your kids are, the predators are already there. He even told me of this site, I want to say it was out of the state of Florida, that was helping kids with their math homework during the pandemic back in 2020. And the predators were actually helping kids with their math homework. And then they were grooming them and cultivating a very sick and twisted relationship. So if you think, oh, my kid, is only going to, these good Discord servers, or they're only going to the safe games on Roblox, the predators are already there. Take my word for it. They're already there. These predators are strategic. They are calculating. They're relentless. This is their obsession. This is what they get up to do every day. So it's not a matter of if, but when they find their next target. They are targeting a dozen kids a week. And this isn't a software or a lawmaker problem. This is a human problem. Predators are targeting our inexperienced kids, and they're really good at it. The issue with a lot of the platforms that our kids are using, like Instagram or TikTok or Roblox or Discord, is that while the companies are not doing anything to harm kids, it's the users that are manipulating the platform to target children. And that's where we as parents really have to understand the difference. While we can sit here and yell at Roblox as much as we want to, at the end of the day, it's how the users are manipulating the platform. And yes, of course, there are things that can be done, but you've got to understand it's how people are abusing the platform that's the big problem. It's the user-created content that is the big problem. So that's just an important distinction to realize. While this may feel like a very uncomfortable thought, well, because frankly it is, our kids are being hunted. But this analogy helps us to understand the problem just a little bit better. I want you to think about how lions hunt in the savannah. They don't chase the fastest impala on the open plain. They're not looking for a fair fight. Instead, they wait at the watering hole, a place where the prey gathers in numbers. This is where they can take their pick of a larger group to find the one that they think that they can take down with little effort. In the same way, predators go to where our kids are naturally congregating, and that's online games, social media platforms, and these chat apps. Our children feel like they're safe because they're using these apps and they're using these games in their own house, sometimes in their own room. But predators, they're going to exploit that false sense of security. They know exactly how to manipulate, deceive, and coerce. Again, this is their job. They've honed their skills over 100 times before they ever get to your kid. So as mature you know your child to be, while you would say they would never knowingly or willingly do this, they are no match for a creep that has been doing this for years. It is an unfair fight, but don't worry, we can beat them. Many parents avoid discussing online grooming because it is an uncomfortable topic. We want to preserve our kids' innocence. We want to hope that this will never happen to our child. But hoping does not protect anyone. It's like tossing a penny into a wishing well. It does nothing to affect the outcome. So we have to be proactive in protecting our kids. Here are 3 rules that I use in my home to create a safer digital environment, and I hope they help you too. Rule number 1, no devices in bathrooms or bedrooms. Keep devices in common areas where everybody can see what's happening. It's a simple rule that helps prevent a lot of bad decisions before they start. You can actually look and see what's on your kid's screen, or you can actually read their nonverbal cues to see when they're uncomfortable, when their face gets flush, when they draw in, when they have a death grip on their phone. That's when you need to be asking, hey, what's going on over there? You don't seem like you're comfortable. And that simple observation can stop a whole lot of things. But you have to have those devices in common areas, because if they're in a bathroom or they're in a bedroom where you can't see them, you can't intervene that quickly. And this might seem strict, but these private spaces can quickly become danger zones. Predators know how to turn private conversations into requests for inappropriate photos, and you would be surprised. at how many smart, wonderful kids can make that decision under the right influence. And so once they have one of these pictures out there, these kids are blackmailed into sending more pictures or sending money. Some kids have been blackmailed with these photos, and as a result, they have chosen to take their own lives because they feel that that's the only way out. They don't want to disappoint their parents. They don't want to disappoint the community. There was one predator who actually got a lewd photo from an 18-year-old, and the predator put that nude picture and pictures of all of his friends and family that he had gathered from social media, and he said, "What are people going to think of you?" And he put their faces next to this photo. That's horrific. But that's what's happening. It's that invasive. It's that personal. It's that disgusting. And this is happening in our homes. So make sure that you talk with your kids and you let them know that they can come to you with any problem that they have online, even if they've messed up. Suicide is never the answer. Harming yourself is never the answer. Make sure your kids know that, and make sure they know that today. The next thing that you can do is disable gaming chat. Now, I strongly recommend disabling chat for all young gamers. Online chats can be toxic. Groomers often use them to make their contact. And by disabling chat, you reduce the exposure to bullying, grooming, and inappropriate language. Honestly, it has so many benefits. So despite what your kids may say, you can still play games like Minecraft and Fortnite and Apex Legends without talking to anyone else. In fact, when I play as an adult, I don't use the chat either. I don't need some toxic middle schooler telling me that my game is trash. I know my game is trash, Dylan. Hush. Number 3, use parental controls. Now, parental controls are not perfect, but they are an essential tool for at least a baseline of safety. You can block access to websites, flag suspicious activity, and even limit screen time. Some kids might complain and say, "Hey, this is my phone," or "It's my laptop." Hold on. As long as you are paying for the device, or the internet, or the power, you set the rules. Use parental controls to maintain oversight and set clear boundaries for your kids' online behavior. Now, in the long run, this is going to help them make better decisions as digital citizens, and that's what we really want. We need the next generation to make good, clear decisions about social media posts and what they do with their online relationships, because quite frankly, the adults are not doing such a good job with that. Now, you may get overwhelmed with parental controls and I don't understand how it works. Where do I go to turn that on? I could tell you how that happens, but by the time I actually post this, it's probably going to have changed for something. So you can have parental controls on your Wi-Fi router, on your gaming devices, on phones, and anything that has a digital membership. You can go into the settings and change those sort of things. So for your Wi-Fi router, what I suggest that you do is go look at it, get the model, make, and number, and then Google that plus parental controls, and you will find their instructions on how to set it up. And there's probably some helpful parent out there who's already done a YouTube video on it that will take you through it step by step for your particular model. And you can do that for the Wi-Fi router, for the gaming console, things like that. Sometimes the gaming consoles will actually have standalone apps. Like on my phone right now, let me pull it up here. I have Xbox Family, Switch parental controls, Google's Family Link, and then another family safety thing, which I think is through Google Gaming. So all of that stuff is on my phone. I can control it from there. I don't need the actual physical device to do that sort of stuff. And of course, on my Wi-Fi router has its standalone app, and there's its own separate section for parental controls that you can just turn on and off. And a lot of parental controls will actually have it set up to where it's for here's the level for kids, here's tweens, here's teens, and here's almost adults kind of stuff that you can do. So it's not like you have to go through and make a whole bunch of settings. You really just have to set up a security pin and then click the button that you want that you think corresponds with the values of your home. And you set it up and you're good to go. You can just walk away. Parental controls are set. So I hope these 3 rules are really going to help you gain the confidence that you need to be able to protect your kids online. And yeah, this may be a little bumpy up front, but it's going to be worth it in the end. Because at the end of the day, the best defense against online predators is a combination of education and rules. Talk openly with your kids about online safety. Teach them how to recognize the manipulation tactics and encourage them to come to you if something feels wrong. Let them know that they won't immediately get their device taken away, because that's the biggest thing that prohibits kids from coming and talking to their parents. They're afraid to lose their privileges to their device. If you need to just upfront say, hey, we're not going to take your device away. And you may not mean permanently, but there may be a little bit of a suspension there. But just let them know that they're going to keep their device. They're going to keep the Xbox. They're going to keep their phone, whatever it is, but they still need to come to you and talk to you about what's going on. By setting rules and having these conversations, you're not ruining their childhood. You're protecting it. You're protecting it in a way that you didn't even know you would have to. Here you are, but you're listening to this podcast and you are looking for answers, and I am proud of you. And in today's digital age, protecting your kids online is one of the most important, loving things that you can do as a parent. Well, that's all that I have for this episode of the Secure Family Podcast for today. Thank you, friend, for listening. Keep an eye out for my new ebook coming soon. I'm very excited about it, and I will have more details in future episodes. Take back your privacy and personal data with help from Delete Me. Get 20% off a privacy plan when using the code DAD at checkout. Delete Me is the official data removal service of the Secure Dad. If you want to know more about me and my mission, head on over to thesecuredad.com. There you'll find free downloads, books to buy, podcast episodes, and a whole lot more. I'm Andy Murphy, reminding you that our kids need help when they go online. Don't be afraid to share what you've learned today. It might just save their life.